Hello brawlers and welcome back to the channel. It's BuckerBrad96 here with another Darkus fusion set. That's right, I am doubling down because the core line actually had fusions for Nelius and Howlkor both. So this video is going to be about Howlkor's fusion with Ramparian. Now I am cheating for this video. Gonna go ahead and apologize ahead of time because I could not get the Armored Alliance version. There was a few listings I could have grabbed online, but at the end of the day, I thought the Legends, it was canon to the show anyway, so it works. And I do prefer the coloring. I just like kind of the lavenderish pink with the aqua turquoise and then the dark blue over the neon green, just in this instance. But for the most part, I have tried to keep this series based on Armored Alliance. Luckily, the other two Bakugan fit that. So yeah, just a little stand-in with the fusion here. But it is the same mold, so I guess that is the big thing, right? Because that is what I want to look at anyway in this series. So thank you all for watching, and let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off with the fusion. So this is the combination of Aquos, Ramparian Ultra, and then I guess the core Howlkor for this video. Again, the partner Bakugan for this never did get core versions. So right off the bat, you can tell definitely Howlkor, just like with the fusion Howlkor and Serpentines. Kind of the same thing, you have the three dog heads. Really, most of the Howlkor aspect, I guess, goes into the heads, so you get that in all of the fusions. Pretty good detailing, I really like the blue color for the teeth and the eyes. Looks pretty nice. And the rest of the Bakugan, honestly, you can kind of look at it either way. Maybe the feet and legs of Howlkor, but, I kind of see Ramparian in the rest of it, right? Just the roundness and the shape. Definitely like a turtle shell. And after all, this is Cerberus turtle. So I guess the fact that it looks like that makes a lot of sense. A little bit of detailing on the tail, not as much as we've seen in some of the Armored Alliance Ultras so far, but good enough. Again, this is a core fusion, so there's only so much detail they can get. Peg holes on the top, which I think that's a weird spot for one, because what exactly is going to fit there? I would like to see how many pieces actually fit into that peg hole. Otherwise, on both sides, so there's where they usually go, I would imagine. Be funny to put the Kobo top hat like in the middle if it fit. That would be funny. Like all three heads are wearing one hat. Of course, there's the B power, which I don't really touch on in this series. Again, just taking a look at the molds, which that's about it for the little turtle dog. So to close, back legs and then the front legs. And then I'm assuming the top two heads, then the tail and the bottom head at the same time. That way you don't get any resistance when closing. And that is a seriously simple fusion. Definitely like the coloring. I might get the Armored Alliance version later on, just to have all of the Armored Alliance ones. But for now, just because the Legends was actually show canon, I thought it would work for this series, and then that was nice, right? That was refreshing. Was worried I might actually miss out on a Bakugan in this series. So now then, going on to the core Howlkor, which honestly, all things considered, probably my favorite version that we got. Now, the unreleased Neo Platinum Howlkor, that thing looked amazing. Would have loved to have that mold, but the core Howlkor, definitely my favorite because the battle planet, the heads are just so large and it's kind of odd looking. The Armored Alliance Ultra, I think it's a little too small proportioned, whereas I think the core gets it right. Like, it just really reminds me almost of a Legacy Bakugan, and it's just got a really good design. I mean, you've got the tail, all four legs and feet, and then they had room to fit in all three heads, and they opened separately. That's three different spring mechanisms, three different details, both sides. of the lower heads are even painted, which that in itself is something. Most of the time, you know, you'll see like half of it done just so you have the outsides. So the fact that that amount of detail went into this makes it so much better. In fact, I think I had a diamond at one point, and I don't even know if the heads were actually painted in that same detail. I could be wrong though, but I don't remember it. Could be just because the colors are a lot better against the black, and maybe I noticed it more. But either way, really cool. Definitely my favorite version. Just like the Fusion, it kind of has the same peg hole setup. So one on top, and then two on the sides. So right there under the head on both sides. So that's pretty neat. Kind of a little interesting thing there. And I'm pretty sure it closes the same way. So there is a little tail flap. It's manual, and it's kind of weird because of the way it clicks in. Little plastic, I guess, spokes kind of just pop in and out. That probably wears out over time, so I would worry about doing that a whole bunch. But technically that is a manual piece, so you want to make sure that's closed. And then this time, it's front feet and then back instead of back to front. You're going to want to close in the two side heads and the top head, and then just slide back as you're doing so. And that is how you close the core Howlkor. Very nice. And finally, taking a look at Ramparian Ultra. So, very awesome Bakugan. It is another turtle, after all. So I think at this time there was Juggernoid, Turtonium, I guess Trimblar is kind of a turtle, right, in Mectanium Surge. So there wasn't a whole lot of turtle Bakugan, and in my opinion there still isn't, because I think after Ramparian we got Colossus. I could be wrong, but I think that's all we got. So not a whole lot of turtle type Bakugan, so it is really cool to have this one. And Ramparian was neat because it wasn't just a turtle, it was more like this weird like dragon turtle type creature, but it was really cool. So now this mold does have manual feet that actually rotate inward. So that is kind of an interesting manual part, in my opinion. Different, you don't really see that a whole lot. For the gear pegs, of course, there is the sides. And then that's it. You only have two of the Ultra, and then of course the gear goes here, and it's like the little lasers. So it's like a little gun pack. I did have the Chaos Translucent at some time. I might have reviewed it on the channel earlier, but I don't quite remember. Either way, still a really cool Bakugan. Like the little side wings or armor scales right here. Just adds to the overall design of the character, which is not bad. And just like with the Hydrus, I really love the colors. You know, the orange just pops against the blue quite nicely. Really neat Bakugan, even has like a little detail on the neck. So to close up Ramparian, I think you just fold in the manual hands, and they can close in. They're pretty much independent and nothing really locks together, so no specific order to that. You are going to want to roll the head all the way back, kind of hold in the feet, which is hard to hold in. I guess holding in everything is the pain, but then the tail just wraps around. Well, it's supposed to just wrap around if I can hold everything. Yep, wraps around, and there we go. There was the click. There is Ramparian Ultra. So that does it for this video. Thank you for watching, everyone. And until next time, stay safe, drum up, and Bakugan Brawl.